What's up guys, my name is Justin. Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to teach you the 5 mistakes every photographer makes.
Hey, what are you doing?
Oh, he wants to tell you something. Let me tell him. Okay, so I don't know what he's about to tell you, but all you need to know is you need to buy the most expensive camera you can get. You need to handheld everything. And don't forget, it only takes one shot. You don't take a lot of pictures. Yeah, that'll work. Anyway, let's roll that intro. Alright guys, so here we are. I wanted to go over the 5 mistakes that photographers make. Some of us still make them. I know that I've caught myself making them over and over again. And the thing is, getting into photography, it's such an art. It's like you can break the rule of thirds and you can still make a good shot. You could get so far on the edge of the screen that you may cut something off, but it's still art, right? So here's the beauty of it. I'm going to walk you through the 5 things that I see that I still make and the things that I probably will continue to make, but it's an evolving process. And if there's a person out there that says they don't make these mistakes or they haven't made them, they're not a true photographer and they haven't been down this journey. So I'm just going to walk you through the 5 things that I know that I've done that I wish I would have learned sooner, that I'm obviously still learning as we go. And that's the thing. It's an evolving process. So okay, hey, real quick, before we get started, smash that like, hit that subscribe, and ding that bell, and be notified on the next video. If there's anything that you want to know or learn about, hit me up in the comments below, and let me know if these 5 things really did help you. Let's get with number 1. All right, so I've been in the industry quite a lot, and there's this notion that you show up and you only get one shot, and it's a perfect shot, and that's all you need. And there's this there's a subliminal message behind, like, oh well, I showed up and it only took one shot. That's the thing. When you see somebody's one shot, you don't know how many hundreds of pictures of bad SD cards that they filled up to get that one shot. So you think that going out and taking pictures is just all it is one shot. There's so much history behind that shot, and there's so much that goes into making the shot. It's not all just one shot. It may seem like it, but I promise you, chances are you look at any good photograph, it's taken more than one shot to get. And if it did indeed only take one shot that one time, they spent years getting up to that point. And I know photographers today that still lean on I take as less shots as possible, but here's a beauty of it. Whenever I started in photography, we were only shooting in 35mm, and we had some color film and we had black and white film. It was back in the day, it was 2 separate things. Now you can do everything in post, right? It's all digital. Like, what are you hurting by taking the pictures to learn from your pictures? Like, it's digital, so why not take as many pictures as you possibly can? To me, I just don't see it as a losing situation. So let's go ahead and get to number 2. I think this number 2 is a big one. It's one that got me, and it's one that I paid the price for, and I think it's a big one. Shoot in RAW. Don't shoot just JPEGs. Don't think that just having JPEGs you're going to get by, because inevitably you're going to have that catalog shoot. You're going to have that big photo. You're going to have that one photo that you're just like, this is it. This is the shot. This one is bad. And then you go to give it to the client and you don't have a RAW file. And they say, hey, could you get us a RAW file? And you're like, hey, I'd absolutely love to. I forgot to put it in RAW. So now my cameras shoot in RAW and JPEG. So if your camera can set up in RAW and JPEG, which most of them can, I highly suggest it. If you can only choose one or the other, always choose RAW, because there's so much pixel data that's going to be in those photos that person can then have and blow up to print, or you can blow up to print and you can have a big canvas on your wall. It's all digital, why not, right? All it is hard drive space. Make sure you shoot in RAW. Learn from my mistakes. Okay, number 3. This third one is a big one. And just yesterday I went out to shoot with my old Nikon D5200. I picked up just the stock lens and I took some beautiful photos. And it got me to thinking about these 5 mistakes that we all make, right? Like, we get down this rabbit hole of thinking, oh, I need a macro lens. Oh, I need a 70-200. Oh, I need a 16-35. Oh, I need an 85. Oh, I need a 90, 100, 105. You just name it, right? We get on this list of I need all these lenses, and that is a great thing. But let me tell you what. Unless you have a camera body for every one of those lenses, you're going to be stuck in this is this the right lens for that job? Whereas if you have one lens and you learn how to master that lens, it's going to serve you and it's going to serve your clients or potentially whatever photo you're going for later a lot more than you would just having a bunch of lenses. So master that lens. Just know that it's not necessarily all about the lens. There's certain lenses that give that wide angle look, like the 16 to 35. It gets that really wide look. This is my style. It's something that I've picked up. It's something that I love, but it's my style. It may not necessarily be yours, and you may not go for this lens, but don't get caught up thinking that to get my look, you have to have this lens. It was just something that I saw somebody else have, and I was like, man, I need that lens. And I've got this lens, and it's been great ever since, but there's still been lens envy as I go along, right? Like get a 24 to 70, which I do have. I have a 70 to 200. I have a 50. I have a 35. Like all these lenses, my buddy has an 85. Like all these lenses they do certain jobs and they give you certain looks, but don't get caught on that you need a lens to go shoot. What matters more than anything is that you go learn that camera and you just get out and you shoot as many pictures as you possibly can and don't get stuck on one. And what am I doing with all my hand motions? Okay, number 4, pixels matter. This is a mistake that I see that a lot of people make is we underexpose or we overexpose a shot a little too much. Now there's this meter that slides from left to right, and it's called the exposure meter, and it goes from -3 or -2 to 3 and 2, +2 and 3. And that meter, along with the histogram, shows the pixels that are going to be visible for you to work with later. Meaning, if it's too skewed one way or the other with the pixels, like if it's on one end it's white and one end it's black, if it's too high on either one of those ends, it's going to be blown out or underexposed. If it's too far on the white side, it's going to be overexposed, and when you go to bring those highlights down, you just won't have enough data. Whereas if you have a underexposed shot, that black's going to be really high. Your blacks are going to be, on the histogram really, really high in the chart or whatever you want to call it, and you're just not going to be able to bring the pixels back. So pixels matter. Watch your exposure, play around with some stuff, but know that if you underexpose a little bit, like I like to do in photos, I underexpose just a little bit because I can bump up the shadows, or a certain angle I can get where I overexpose a little bit because I know I can bring those highlights down because I don't want to lose any pixel data in a shadow, whether it be in a face or under a tree. I would much rather bring the highlights from the clouds in and leave the pixels on the face bright, because if I lose highlights in the sky, I know that I can either do some Photoshop action work on that, or maybe even like you won't even notice that we're losing a little bit of data. However, just reading that histogram is going to save your life. So learn how to read that histogram, and it will save you and possibly save that one photo later on down the road. Boom! Word number 5. Number 5. This is one I wish I would have learned sooner. Honestly, I just learned this in the past year. Don't be afraid to use a tripod. Get a tripod, use it. And here's why. Like, tripods used to be one of those things that I hated carrying around. I didn't like. To me, it was one of those things that I was like, God, a tripod, they're so heavy. You have to have a plate on your camera body, and it has to be fit just right. And did it mix with my Peak Design bag at the time, or did it work with my what am I thinking of? Cotton carrier. I have one of those cotton carriers where it straps onto my body. Is it one of those things where I'm, can it work with both? And I was just like, I didn't like a tripod. I didn't like tripod. I only used tripods whenever I did video. Everything was handheld. I shot it in 4K, or I shot it in 120 and I just slowed it down. 120 slow motion. I shot it and then I slowed it down, and then it turned out okay. I did some image stabilization stuff. If I did warping, I nest the video file. But shooting photos, you can actually get a lot of great photos with a tripod. You can get some really cool composite shots like I've done with my cars. You can get cool composite nature shots, but you can only get those types of shots if you had a tripod. I wish that we had a tripod whenever we went up to, me and my wife 2 years ago went up to Yellowstone National Park, and there were just so many things to walk around and see and do, and I totally wish I would have had a tripod then. At the time, I didn't know it, but now I'm looking back on those photos and think, man, this would be a cool spot for a tripod. Or, hey, that waterfall would have been awesome if I had some If I could do some focus stacking with the distance and the waterfall, I wish that I would have had a tripod. So my fifth one is, don't be afraid to use a tripod. Get one, get comfortable with it, carry it with you. You never know when you're gonna need it. All right, guys, thank you so much for checking this video out. If you would, hit that thumbs up, smash that subscribe, and ding that bell. Let me know you want more videos like this. I love doing them. It's a lot of fun. I kind of just get to do whatever with my hands and make funny skits. And I don't know. I like it. I want to keep doing it. So help me out. Help a brother out. Smash that like button. Yeah. I'll see you later.